a neurologist who worked at the NHS in the UK. She was working there for over 21 years, and she's been suspended for calling the Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar a legend. She made a post saying, "Many will view him as a superhero, having no food for 3 days and still fighting." Despite working at the NHS for many years, she was immediately suspended whilst pending further investigation. So I'm not sure. Obviously, I've got a lot of people from the UK in the chat tonight, so I'm sure a lot of you can agree with me on this. We know how badly the NHS have been short-staffed. For those of you that don't live in the UK, the NHS is free healthcare. It's free to an extent, sorry. Some things you do have to pay for, but the majority, let's say 95% of it is free. But because 95% of it is free in the UK, there's a long waiting list. And part of the reason why there's a long waiting list is because they're short-staffed. And then you see posts like this. There's NHS Neurologists, that have just got an opinion on something. You don't have to agree with their opinion. The government doesn't have to agree with your opinion. But when there's somebody that's clearly an experienced worker as well, she's not like just someone that got the job 6 months ago and she made a tweet and they might have sacked her or whatever. She's worked at the NHS for 21 years, and for one single post, they're going to sack her of her job. Like, there's not dying people who have like serious health conditions in the UK that need people like this to be working. It's crazy. I'm sure if she said Bibi Netanyahu was a hero or he was a legend, do you think she would have had the same consequences? Of course not. Of course not. But let me just show you, because once I made the post, and she actually commented on the post. I obviously assumed she was on X, but I didn't realise she had an X account. But she actually made a post underneath my tweet and said, "I made an analytical post and I was correct. This was my post on the back of someone's TikTok glorifying SINWAR. It's accurate. In America, there are t-shirts of SINWAR being sold. On America's Got Talent, someone sang a tribute to him. So my political analysis was correct." So basically, she wasn't even saying that he's a hero herself. She was just basically saying that what the media's done with SINWAR is they've made him into a hero. Like, she wasn't even saying that she agreed with it. And because of that, she got suspended from her job. Just before Christmas as well. This is her original post that she linked to. She said, "Israel will lose. They've turned SINWAR into a legend, a male role model." And then she put the link to the TikTok video she was talking about. And then she's showing some evidence that, you know, people have made him into a hero. Like there's tops in Walmart selling it, saying Yahya Sinwar, we will win or die. So what she's saying is practically correct. You know, she's not saying herself that he was a hero, because she knows there's certain laws in the UK where we're not allowed to say things like that. But she's just hinting that maybe the media have turned him into a hero. So I dropped a comment back to her. I said, everyone go give her a follow. She deserves all of our support. And she's been getting a lot of support in the comments, which is nice to see. You know, she's obviously a nice lady. Just because she's got an opinion doesn't mean that she should lose her job. Like, do you know what I mean? The UK's turned crazy. Atik said she deserves a promotion. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're all allowed to have an opinion. And what exactly? Sorry, I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when I said, what if she said Netanyahu was a hero? Yeah, of course. She would have got promotion at the NHS. She would probably been promoted to the fucking manager or something. Let me try and actually let me try and pull up the Daily Mail's. They done like a piece. NHS Neurologist UK Hamas. If I just type these keywords in, here we go. So we've got this is what the NHS said. Not the NHS. This is what the Telegraph, is it? Sorry, the Telegraph said an NHS neurologist who described the former leader of Hamas as a legend has been temporarily suspended from the medical register. Rahiana Ali, who worked in the NHS for 2 decades, published posts on X, formerly Twitter, said that Israel's killing of Yahya Sinwar turned the October 7th mastermind into a legend and a male role model. Notice how they changed the words, you know, like, she literally explained in the comments, like, even I got some of this wrong, because I can't lie, some of my sources that I was looking, like, on Google, I don't even know how I came across this, to be honest. I think I was just looking for something else to do with Hamas. They made like a statement around the same time, and then I saw this come up and I started reading into it. I read through a few different articles, and then I put together like my own report. But she said they said in separate posts, the consultant neurologist also said the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah, the Hezbollah leader, had turned him into a legend who was completely untouchable. Dr. Ali has now been temporarily suspended pending investigation by the General Medical Council, the independent regulator of doctors. It comes after Wes Streeting called out on regulators to strike off doctors who bring extremist views about Gaza into the workplace as part of a wider crackdown on anti-Semitism within the NHS. Is this anti-Semitic, guys? Like, come on. The Health Secretary told The Telegraph he would enforce a zero-tolerance approach to anyone who uses the conflict in the Middle East as a pretext to attack communities in the health service. Announcing the decision to temporarily suspend Dr. Ali, a GMC spokesman said, Dr. Ali has been interim suspended pending the conclusion of a full GMC investigation. As interim orders tribunal of the Medical Practitioners Tribunal Service imposed the sorry, my English is terrible today. Interim suspension on her practice on Friday, December the 20th. We are acutely aware of the concerns that may have been raised regarding Dr. Ali, and we will take any action where concerns suggest patient safety or the public confidence in doctors may be at risk. The GMC had previously described any form of anti-Semitism or Islamophobia as completely unacceptable. Like I said, if she'd said something about Netanyahu, would they say that's Islamophobic then? Because this isn't anti-Semitic, like whatever you want to call it, this is definitely not anti-Semitic. She didn't say anything about Jewish people. She just made a comment about the leader of Hamas, you know? So I don't know how that's deemed anti-Semitic anyway. But a doctor can be temporarily suspended while the GMC investigates. It can do this if it believes a doctor's practice should be restricted to protect members of the public or if it's in the doctor's interest. 3 tribunal members will decide whether to suspend or impose conditions on a doctor's registration for up to 18 months. The Jewish Medical Association reported Dr. Ali to the GMC for alleged racism and anti-Semitism expressed on social media. Professor David Katz, chairman of the JMA, welcomes the decision to impose an immediate suspension order on her registration. He added, we hope that the decision shows that the GMC is now belatedly beginning to take the necessary action to implement the zero-tolerance policy for anti-Semitism, which was endorsed by the Secretary of State last week. Basically, just this goes on for ages, you know. It's not really worth me reading about all this shit. But anyway, what I'm trying to make a point about is that the NHS is already short on staff. They said that she's upsetting people in the workplace and patients, for example. But why would the patients have her on social media, guys? Like, come on, that's her personal page. If she wants to talk about what she wants to talk about, then that's fine. The same way that is if someone wanted to speak about they love Israel, for example. Like, I'm sure that there'll be no action taken, you know. And I believe in free speech, you know. As much as we know Israel are like genocidal baby killers, they should be allowed to say it if they want to on Twitter, you know. That's what Twitter's for, the free speech and all that. But especially someone that's been in the NHS for 21 years. Like, it's honestly disgusting. It's honestly disgusting.